Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be foreplay, sexual innuendo, and sex. Got an email here from a girl who I answered a YouTube question for her recently. It was one about the one I called, "Does she swallow, keep the change?" She wanted to know about what guys think about girls that don't swallow. And so she says, first off, thank you for the insight, and I totally get the frankness between similar sexes. In other words, when girls get together and they talk about really explicit subjects. But it's interesting what she brings up here, and I talk about this a lot, that girls are always worried about getting labeled with a slut label. Like, oh, you slept with him? Oh my God, I can't believe you did that. And so there's a certain line that women don't want to cross because obviously they are concerned about their peers and what they think about them. And girls like it when they tell a guy something and he keeps his mouth shut and he doesn't go blabbing his mouth off to everybody else or revealing intimate details that she wants to be kept private. So he said, or a secret that she may have shared. So she says, no girl wants to be seen as the dirty girl of the bunch. Your girlfriends knowing you have a hint of Tasmanian wildness is one thing, but confessing to issues reserved to the dirty girl is off bounds. So she's basically saying, I don't tell my girlfriends everything because I don't want them to think I'm a slut. I mean, what do guys want? We want a lady in the streets and an absolute fucking whore in the bedroom, or a whore in the sheets if you like the version that rhymes, but that's what we want. We don't. And another thing we want is we don't want a girl. It's like, whether guys say it or not, we don't want a girl that slept with everybody or slept with the whole fucking football team, or someone that's basically a big fucking cum dumpster. Why? Because we don't want anybody that's poisoned the well. You know, it's like we want to feel like if we got a girl that she's special and that she's unique and there hasn't been a lot of other dudes. Partly, obviously, to fill our own ego. But I think probably from a biological perspective, we want to know that, hey, if our girl gets knocked up, it's actually our baby that she's knocked up with. And she says, you guys see it as notches on the headboard of life. In other words, we get to fulfill our dirty fantasies. And, you know, I always say that different strokes for different folks. You know, some guys are, like, really dirty, and they like really dirty things. Like, I have a buddy of mine, and he likes to fuck his girlfriend in the ass. And then right after he pulls it out of her ass, she turns right around and sticks it in her mouth and completely sucks all the shit off of his dick. And he thinks that's really hot. And, I mean, like, little things can totally ruin it. And I remember I had gone out and hooked up with a girl. I didn't sleep with her. We just made out and fooled around a couple times in a nightclub. And then, like, a week later, all of us were going out in a group together. But in the meantime, he had proceeded to tell me, he's like, oh, yeah, she was, because his girlfriend at the time was bisexual. And so this girl that I had kissed and made out with, who was really beautiful and I was into, and I was going to go out with her, he proceeds to tell me, oh, yeah, she was over at my house last week, and her, and I don't remember what the fuck his girlfriend's name was at the time. They were rolling around in bed together, and just the thought of him having anal sex with his girlfriend and then sticking it in her mouth and then her kissing the girl that I was kissing, it fucking grossed me out, because I didn't want anything to do with him, because he was just a dirty guy, and just some of the chicks that he hooked up with, it's like poison the well. It grossed me out. It's like I totally turned me off. I wanted nothing to do with that girl, even though she was beautiful, just because she was mixed up with his particular girlfriend. I was like, that's just the way I am. Some guys are different. Some guys don't care, but obviously it matters to me. And I think looking at my audience and most of the guys that write in, it's like they kind of feel the same way. It's like, you don't want a chick that's been around the block 100 times. He says, I'll admit, though, after seeing your expression of eyes rolling in the back of your head, I was sold. And so in that particular video, I was talking about how to give a guy a really fucking great blowjob. And so she says, that's what I want. Excuse my frankness, but I want to leave my boyfriend with mind-blowing sex. I'm not a person that sleeps around or has casual sex ever, and when I do, it's always in a committed arena. I never want him to feel that there is any part lacking. Yeah, in other words, we don't really want a girl that slept with 500 dudes. I mean, I'll just be honest. That's the way it is. I think that's the way most guys are, just based upon, I've talked to thousands and thousands of people over the years that I've been doing this. I think that's how the majority of men and women really feel. Even though for guys, a lot of guys, yeah, it is kind of like the notch in the bedpost, like, I fucking banged that girl last night. It's just, hey, that's the way we are, and masculine energy is about purpose, drive, mission, succeeding, accomplishing. And so when guys are around other guys, it's like you feel like a loser if you didn't screw that girl that you took home the other night, or you didn't pick up that girl that you saw walking down the street and successfully it end up in the bedroom, that kind of thing. There's a lot of peer pressure on guys to perform with women just from other guys. But when it comes to being in a relationship, we don't really want a girl that's been around the block one too many times. So she says, my next question is, do you feel it's better to talk about sexual experience you think would be enjoyable, or just try to capture it in the moment? And she says, P.S. I may keep the change, but I think I'll bypass yogurt this next week. And so here's the thing. It's like, when it comes to sexual innuendo and having fun, you can talk. Here's the other thing you want to be concerned about. Is some women will start talking about other things that other men have done to them. And if your boyfriend is a guy that's insecure about himself, he might get butthurt and bent out of shape that you're bringing up other dudes and what you liked about him. Now, a guy that's comfortable and confident, doesn't give a shit, when you say, this guy I dated, he fucked me and he did this to me one way, or you explain it. Like, if it was my girlfriend explaining it to me, I'd be like, oh, that's fucking cool. What did he do to you now? How did that go? And so I'll do the same thing to her, because that's obviously what she wants. But guys that are insecure, so that might not be the best. I don't know what your boyfriend is like, because I don't know him personally, but if he's really comfortable in himself, tell him. Tell him what other guys have done to you that you really liked. And if you don't, if you feel he's going to get upset about it, then just tell him what you do like, but don't obviously reference other guys. I had an email recently from a guy who got all bent out of shape when his girlfriend brought up things that other men had done to her. So, I'd say it's both ways. It's like, because the whole purpose of all relationships, you go there to give, right? And so if you're there to meet each other's needs and fulfill each other and help each other grow and become more in love with one another and fulfill each other sexually, spiritually, mentally, physically, in basically every way, then you're going to ask those questions. I did an article a while back called Rate Me, Baby, R-A-T-E. And it's a simple exercise you can have like once a week with your boyfriend or your girlfriend, your significant other, or whatever. We get together and you just say, hey, on a scale of 1 to 10, how was I as a boyfriend to you this past week? And if she says, well, you were an 8, then you say, okay, well, instead of getting butthurt, like, because you're only an 8 and not a 10, you say, well, what would I have done differently this past week in order for me to be a 10 instead of an 8? And then you talk about that. And it's like, so every week or every couple of weeks you do that, it helps you both make sure you're fulfilling each other's needs. But it's also fun to let things happen in the moment, or to use sexual innuendo and talk about things kind of like what you're going to do to, like, one of the things I like doing with my girlfriends, I like telling her when I get home later, I'm going to pin you up against the refrigerator, and I'm going to rip your fucking panties off, and I'm going to fucking bend you over the counter, and I'm going to fuck your brains out. And I don't care what part of doing dinner you are, I'm going to have my way with you. And I may say something like that to her, and she's like, ooh, really? Because, like, women want a guy, just especially when it comes to sex, not all the time, but there are certain times they want to be pinned up against the counter, or maybe have your hands around their neck, not choking them. Some women like that shit, but they're like firmly grabbing their hair and fucking them and just really hammering away at them. It's just, sometimes that's what they want. They want to feel that the guy is totally in control, that he takes control, and he just fucking handles things. Then there's other times they want to have nice romantic sex that lasts an hour or so, where you both massage each other, maybe use massage oil, or maybe you're having like edible chocolate or whipped cream or strawberries or other things. The key is not to do the same thing over and over. Or like if my girlfriend is not with me during the day and I'm at work and she's at home doing something and she says, "Oh, hey, honey, I was just texting you, seeing how you're doing, seeing what you're up to." I might text back, "Are you wearing panties right now?" And I'll ask her something like that, and just to see what she's gonna say, and she'll say, "Actually, I'm not." And I was like, "Are you a little wet thinking about me right now?" And it's like just little things like that, like throughout the day, you text each other, and so you've been kind of talking sexual innuendo around the topic of sex throughout the day, and then she'll be like, "When are you coming home?" I was like, "Oh, I'm coming home, but I'm not coming yet. I'll be home maybe around 7, maybe around 8. I'm not really sure. I'm gonna have to get back to you." It's like she kind of, because remember, women are more attracted to men whose feelings are unclear, and so you're basically saying, "I'm gonna come home and I'm gonna fuck you, but I'm not really sure when I'm gonna be there." And so it's like the more she wonders and the more mysterious it is. That's all part of foreplay and sexual innuendo. It's like building up to the main event. And so like all day long you've been kind of teasing each other. Or I might just like in the beginning of the day tell a girl I'm dating, it's like, "I fucking want you. I want to be deep inside you right now." I might just text her that. And so we'll start texting each other back and forth, and she'll say, after a while, she'll say, "Thanks for getting me all hot and bothered at work." And I'm like, "Yeah, I hope your panties are all wet and sticky right now. I'm going to tear them off when I get home later." And you just say things like that and have a good time with a girl. And then the last line there, she says, "And I'm not crazy, just curious." And I would say, well, if a girl says I'm not crazy, I would say there's probably a pretty good chance you're just a little crazy, but of course in a good way. So if you have a question that you want to ask me, or there's a topic you want me to cover in a future video newsletter, go to my website, click the Contact Me tab on the left-hand side of your screen. Send me 1 to 2 paragraphs max detailing your questions, and just give me several days to get back to you with a response. If you want to talk to me right away, the quickest way to get my help is to book a paid phone coaching session. You can do that by going to my website, click the Products tab, which will be at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions. If you want to get a digital version of my Kindle ebook, on the right-hand side of my website, underneath the email sign-up box, there is a box that has a link that will take you right to the Kindle download page. Once you get there, if you don't have a Kindle device, on the right-hand side of the download page is a button you can click to download a free e-reader app for your smartphone, tablet device, or your computer. It only takes a matter of seconds to download and install the app, and only a few more seconds after that to complete the purchase of my book, and be reading it in no time. And if you appreciate the value of the information I offer in these videos and newsletters and the articles on my website and my ebook, you can show your appreciation by going to my website and on the Wibbia toolbar, which is at the bottom of your screen. Click the PayPal donate button and donate any amount that you feel is equal to the value of the information. And I will talk to you soon.